Hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Millie and today we are looking at my highlighting, blush, contour, bronzer drawer. I have another drawer that is full of more face palettes, so this is kind of singles, if you will. And we're gonna just go through this, and I'm mostly going to be just talking about the different highlighters and blushes that I have and my thoughts on them, but also maybe possibly decluttering a little bit. This is not going to be a huge declutter by any means. It's just going to be a little bit here and there. Maybe we'll see how it goes. And I will also swatch a little bit here and there. So if that's something you would like to see, please keep watching. There's a lot here to talk about. Let me first go through my face palettes because I feel like there's less of those that I have. So these are two blush palettes from Likely Makeup. This is the Clown Blush palette, which is kind of more earthy tones, and then yellow, no, well, the purple's not really earthy tone, but you know what I mean. Versus this one is the Fairy Blush, and this is pastels, so a little bit more kind of unnatural blush colors, except for this beautiful peach shade. But I love both of these palettes, and I'm definitely keeping both of them in my collection. I really especially enjoyed this shade here. I haven't used these as much, but I'm hoping to dip into those, especially around Halloween, or to use them as eyeshadows. Next up is this empty palette from Colourpop called You're Dreamy, and I think this palette was around I think this palette came out right when they started doing the whole build your own palette type of thing on their website. So in this palette, I felt it was fitting because the words are hollow, that I put some beautiful kind of duochrome, multi-chrome highlighters in here. So these are the Bitter Lace Beauty. I always forget what it's called. The 2020 Candy Coated Highlighters. That's what they are. And these are my prized possession. I absolutely love these, and I'm so happy that I bit the bullet and got all of these. You can of course also use these as eyeshadows. These are super stunning, and they're definitely a bit more glittery, so if that's something you don't like, I wouldn't recommend these. They are a little bit glittery, but I first like to either spray some setting mist and just kind of wet the skin a little bit and then buff them in, so then it kind of cuts down on the glittery effect, or you can go in with them dry, but then you might see some kind of more flakiness. But either way, I definitely suggest a denser brush and just really rubbing it into the skin. This is just a bronzer shade from Makeup Geek called, trying not to drop this, Infidelity Cool Fair. And this was from like years ago when they came out with the contour singles. And I had another shade, which I don't know where that one is. This one's too deep, but I haven't been able to get rid of it, so it's kind of just stuck here. It's fallen a couple of times. I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can use it as eyeshadow, or maybe I will try to use it as contour, just very light hand, but I'm not really sure. From what I remember, it was pretty pigmented. So then next up we have this Sleek Makeup, the highlighting palette in Solstice, and I don't know if you remember, but this was so huge when it came out and everyone was talking about them. These are like really super metallic, really gorgeous. I love these shades. I don't use them as often, and I'm pretty sure that they discontinued this since then, but I'm gonna keep this one and maybe see if it makes it through the next declutter. Next up I have this Wet n Wild Midnight Moon limited edition highlighter. This one was also like, everyone was raving about this and it was sold out. Honestly, yes, it's very beautiful, but it's kind of like grayish, and I don't know if you could see it, but I can even see it in the pan. There's like a weird grayish cast on it, so I don't really like it. It's very shiny. I do like the gold, but I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. Then we have this MAC Nutcracker Sweet Peach Face Compact in the shade Tutu and at Dusk. This was a MAC holiday collection like a while ago. I don't know if they've brought it back since then, but we've got this beautiful kind of pinky mauve shade. It's a little bit on the mauve side. And then this highlight is beautiful, super metallic, just so stunning. And this is what it looks like swatched. I really enjoy this, so I'm gonna keep this until next time. As you can see, I've used the blush quite a bit. This is actually kind of rubbing off, and the highlighter as well, so I do like this duo. Then we have another Colourpop empty palette. This one's a little bit dirtier than the other one because it is white, and in here I keep my Kristen Lee Cosmetics Iridescent highlighters. So these are like duochromes. They're the types that have a white base and then they have that shift. So just to swatch a couple of them. I did drop this and they broke, so I have repressed them since, and they're super powdery since I've repressed them, even though I did use alcohol. And I just love these. These were my go-to for an inner corner highlight. I don't reach for them as much anymore, but I'm definitely keeping them for the inner corner. These are just some beautiful staple iridescent shades to have for really any look, and you can use these obviously on the lids or in the face. Then we have the Natasha Nuna Sculpt and Glow palette, and this palette honestly I don't really use as much. It was really heavily discounted a few times, and I thought I would try it out because I do love the cream formula diamond and blush version of this. However, I just don't really reach for it. I'm not sure what it is. The powders here, also like not a huge fan. I feel like I need to dip into this a little bit more before I decide if I want to keep it or not. So I'm going to keep this one for now. So speaking of which, this is the Diamond and Blush palette, which I love this palette. My favorite is the Diamond Cream Glow base. I have a bit of a dent in it. The blush is really nice. I don't use it as much. Then we have the diamond powder here in the corner, which is basically just like pressed glitter. It's like a glitter topper. I kind of imagine that this is what the Diamonds Something highlighter from Fenty looks like. And then we have this other highlighter, which is kind of like a champagne highlighter. And then the Duo Glow highlighter, which is kind of like a pinky gold. I feel like this one doesn't really suit my skin tone that well. But I'm going to keep this palette just for the cream highlight, honestly, and just in general, I do really enjoy it. Then I have this Giant Makeup Revolution Pro HD Amplified palette. This palette actually came free with an order. Why would they want to ship this as a free item? I don't understand, but I use the Con On Tour. I don't know what they're trying to do here. I use this and I really like the shade on my skin tone, so I decided I would keep it and try it out. I will probably never get any use out of this shade. I think I could use both of these shades, definitely Peach Beach because it is beautiful, and then definitely this Rosy Posy shade as well, and then these just ascending powders. So I want to keep this and see if I can get some use out of it. Next up we have the Flower Beauty, what is this, Shimmer and Strobe Highlighting Palette. I have actually kind of decluttered it and then put it back. I think this one is still available. I love this. This one very much reminds me of the Sleek Makeup palette as well, like texture wise and the effect kind of. So I feel like those are pretty similar. I'm not 100% sure if I want to keep this any longer, but I'm gonna keep it just in case. But I do really enjoy it otherwise, so I just have to remember to reach for this one more. Next up we have this Empty palette from Makeup Forever. And this has kind of just some singles. We have these two are from ABH. This is another Bitter Lace Beauty shade. Oh my god, the magnet is so strong. I'm not even gonna be able to. Oh no, it's sticky. I don't know what shade that is. Anyways, it's really beautiful. Then these two are singles from Essence, I believe. I don't remember what the shade name is, but I remember people just loving this as a highlighter. And it's super pale. I don't really know if I could use this anymore. And then it's Peachy shade. I think I'm gonna leave these in here, and next time I use a highlighter, I think I'm gonna try these out because I feel like I wouldn't like this nowadays. My highlighter preference is just not white anymore. And then the peach, I'll see, it might be a little too dark for me. So I'm gonna try these out. So these are possibly to be decluttered. Then I have these 4 shades from, I believe these are from Beauty Bar Baby. These are from a while ago. This one is too dark for me, so I don't use that one, but it is in there. And then on this side I have the Makeup Geek highlighter in Glitz. This was in the pan that it came in, so that's why there's like glue and it's ugly underneath. And honestly, I was never really a huge fan of these. It's really like high shine reflective, but something about it, but I remember it accentuating my skin texture. So I don't know, I don't really want to keep these in here. I don't ever use these or think to use these, and I just prefer some of the other formulas I have to these. So I'm gonna declutter those 2 shades, and then just in case you're interested, I am going to swatch some of these. This is called Pretty in Nude. Now this was a while ago that I got these, so I don't even know if they carry them anymore, but let me just swatch them. Pretty in Pink. This one's a really beautiful like pink to gold. It's but it looks peachy when you swatch it out. That's interesting. And then we have Pretty in Champagne. So these are all really, really stunning. And so there is one last kind of technical face palette, and this is the Dior Backstage Glow Face palette. And this one is like, I think the first one they released, I believe. And these are just so stunning. I love the formula. I love the texture. I love the colors, except for this one. Obviously, I can't use that one. But these 3 shades are just so stunning. So I'm definitely gonna keep this one. So now we're truly done with any. So next up are just these e.l.f. palettes. I guess they're technically face palettes because there's a blush and a highlighter, so they're duos. So I'm going to count these as well. But I have a video up face swatching all of these separately, and I really like these a lot. The highlighters on most of these are a little too dark, but I love the formula. I wish they would come out with more shades. Also wish they would come out with a lot more shades of these blushes as well. So really like these. I'm going to keep these. So then this Benefit Dandelion, is that what it's called? Dandelion, is that the shade? This Dandelion blush, and I really do like this blush. This was a gift from one of my Instagram friends, and I never tried a Benefit face product before, and she sent me this, and it smells a little perfumey. I can't put my finger on exactly how, like very floral. And I do really like the shade, and I think the formula is pretty nice, so I'm going to keep this. But I wouldn't go out of my way to purchase a blush or any other product from Benefit. Overall, I'm not a huge fan of Benefit, but I do like the blush. There's just so much in this drawer that I really don't know even where to go next. So let me just kind of do it maybe by brand. So let's talk Tower 28. I'm not going to swatch these because they are cream, and they'll be a pain to try to wash off so I can swatch more stuff. So I have all the 3 blushes. I think they have one more maybe. I'm not sure, I don't remember. And then the bronzer in West Coast. And I absolutely love these. I was very skeptical about the bronzer, but I really, really love it. With a light hand and correct placement, it's really stunning. And these blushes are super pigmented and just beautiful. I look forward to using these all the time, so I really love these. They will never go anywhere. Then we have this Coral Cove Powder Blush from Milani. This is probably, at this point, the oldest thing right now in this drawer. I've had this for 5 years now. It's beautiful, but I don't see myself ever finishing this up. There's so much product in here. I don't think I'm gonna keep this one. Then I have the Butter Bronzer in, is that the shade Sunkissed? I'm not sure, but anyways, I bought this because everybody was raving about how great of a bronzer this is for lighter skin tones. I think it is. It has a little bit of a sheen, so I don't love it, but I do like it here and there, so I'm going to keep this one. Plus it's affordable, and I like the shade. It's not like too warm. I feel like I've already been talking for way too long, so let me try to speed this up. Next up is the Melt Highlighter Stargazer, and I love this formula. I love this shade. This is such a beautiful highlighter. It's very similar to the Amrezy ABH highlighter, I feel like, which is why I've actually decluttered this one. So I do have a video from last year where I rank my highlighters, and that one was like my favorite, but I actually ended up decluttering it and just keeping this one. Plus I have made quite a bit of dent, as you can see in this one. Well, not literally a dent, but it looks pretty worn. So I love this one, keeping this one forever and ever and ever. Then I have these 2 cream highlighters from Rituel de Fille. I'm pretty sure that's French, and I have no experience with French. But anyways, these are kind of like iridescent shades. These are pretty, I've had these for quite some time. They take a little bit of rubbing to like warm them up under the finger. And I honestly never really love this formula. I've seen them launch some more shades. I don't know if you can see the shifts. One of them is purpley, the other is like a pinky shade. They've launched some more shades that look absolutely stunning. There was like this really beautiful green shifting one. They also launched some gorgeous cream blushes that I was very interested in, but I have a lot of cream blushes. Next up, this is relatively new. This is the Natasha Denona Face Glow Cream Shimmer in the shade Light. I absolutely love this. This is just so amazing. I like to rub my finger on it and then just tap it on. This gives you like a blingy glow, but it's also like natural looking because it is a cream, so I love this. I've been literally filming for like 5 minutes and it wasn't recording, so I have to go back through what I was just talking about. So just quickly, this is the Fenty Beauty Into Sun bronzer. I absolutely love this. I would repurchase it. I have a slight dent in it from using it. This is very buildable, so it's not too pigmented, and I love that because I do have very fair skin and I just would rather build up than have to try to take away. Then I have this sample size of the Hula Benefit bronzer that everyone used to rave about, and I do like the shade, but I haven't used this in such a long time. I honestly don't remember my thoughts on this, but I'm gonna keep it. It's small, so why not? Then we have this Huda Beauty Tantour in Fair. Honestly, it's pretty warm. It's not really, I don't really think you can merge those two. They're completely two different concepts, contouring and bronzing. It looks kind of cool tone-ish here, but when I put it on, I feel like it's super warm, like it blends out warm. I've had some patchy issues with it, with applying it with a sponge. There's quite a bit of a dent in here though, so I'm gonna keep it and just be really light-handed with it. Next up are these Cover FX Celestial Custom Enhancing Drops or Enhancer Drops. And I love this. It's almost kind of drying out up here, but there's still liquid in here and it's fine. So I'm gonna keep this for sure. I love those. Then we have this Wet n Wild Mega Glow Cheek and Lip Tint. This is basically just a really pink blush. And it's pretty pigmented. I do like it. I'm going to keep it. It's pretty cheap and it does feel cheap too. Just this whole plastic compact thing. But I'm gonna keep it. I do like it. There's a lot of sunlight coming through into this drawer now, and it might kind of be hard to show any swatches. So we'll just try to get through the rest of this pretty quickly. I have this NYX Taupe Highlighting Definition Blush. Why is this called a blush? It's so taupey, it's not a blush. Anyways, this is a really great contour. It's super, super pigmented and powdery though, so I have to be really careful going with a really light hand. I have used this quite a bit. There's a little bit of a dent, a lot of brush kind of holes in here, so I'm gonna keep this one. Then this Makeup Forever Star Powder. What shade is this? I don't even know what shade this is. I have no idea. I remember this like way like 5 years ago. This was just like a beautiful loose powder, and like loose, like really loose, and it has a really stunning duochrome kind of iridescent sheen to it. It's like green, and I already kind of have stuff like this, and I don't love that this is loose, but I've had it for such a long time. I think I'm just going to keep it. I honestly don't remember the last time I reached for this, and I have pretty much a pressed version from Kristen of this, so I'm gonna declutter this one. Next up, this is pretty recent to my collection. This is from Ella Masqua, and this was sent to me in PR. This is the Color Veil Gel Blusher in Tonic, and I only used it once so far. I definitely want to use it more. It's pretty liquidy, but I want to experiment with this one more. I love the shade. I had a little bit of a patchy issue the first time I used it on one of my cheeks, but then I used a brush on the other cheek and it was fine, so I want to keep playing around with this one for sure. Then we have this Starlit Powder from Makeup Forever again in the shade 13, I think is the shade. And this is from a few years ago when they released a bunch of these shades. And this was like a really beautiful highlighting shade. I remember Tati talking about it and everybody wanting to buy it. I remember it being sold out because she talked about it as a highlighter. And I'm just going to keep this. Honestly, it was pretty expensive and I like the shade, so I'm going to keep it. Then we have this Fenty Beauty Island Bling 2-in-1 Liquid Eyeshadow Eye Shimmer. And I put this in here because I'm not going to use it on my lids. When I did use it on my lids, it didn't fully dry down and it was a crease mess. So I thought I would maybe use this as a highlighter instead. Hasn't really happened. Not really sure. I might just keep it in here until the next declutter and see. Try to use it before then. Then I have this Natasha Denona Super Glow in 01 Fair. I love this formula. Really beautiful highlighter. Doesn't accentuate skin texture. Just super beautiful, buildable. You can't see anything really. It's pretty shiny though when you build it up. Anyways, I love this one. I'm keeping it. Then I have this Danessa Merrick's Enlight Powder in Radiance. And this was one of my first purchases. I've had this for such a long time and I always forget to use it because it is loose, but it's absolutely stunning. It's a beautiful, beautiful highlighter. I love the gold in it. I haven't used it in a really long time, so I'm not sure I remember how I feel about it on my face per se. So I'm going to keep this just to see how I like it now since it's been a while, and then it might get decluttered. It might. Next up we have these 3 highlighters from Wet n Wild. These 2 are limited edition, and then this one is the Blossom Glow shade. Oh my gosh, these are such beautiful, beautiful highlighters from the drugstore. They're absolutely amazing. Super, super metallic, just beautiful. You can go in for the peachy shade here or the kind of more pink shade, or you can mix it all together. I love this one. This one is a little bit more unique. You got like a gray in the center, which is really interesting, and then a purple on the outside. I feel like these are from like a holiday or like some kind of unicorn collection or something like that. But they're just really stunning. They're very metallic. They're those kind of highlighters that don't accentuate skin texture. So I'm definitely keeping these. Next I have this LA Mascara Beyond powder. I use this also in my LA Mascara video. They sent this to me in PR to try out. And this shade is such a cool shade. Like, it has quite a bit of a shift in it. I really love this shade. It's very light, so it doesn't accentuate skin texture. Next up, this was a recent repurchase. This is the KVD Vegan Beauty Shade and Light Contour in Lucid and Sombre. And this actually I purchased recently, which is why it still says Kat Von D on it. I used to have the entire blush palette when it first came out, and then when the whole Kat Von D thing happened, I decluttered it. So now that Kat Von D is not part of the brand, I decided to repurchase it and plan on using this a lot. I really just love this shade, and this one is a great setting powder for under the eyes as well. Alright, I had to eliminate this whole sun situation because it was just not good. Next up, we have these 2 Colourpop loose highlighters. Do you remember when they had these? I'm pretty sure they don't have these anymore. We have Nomi and Sugar Trap, and this is kind of like a peach, and then this is a kind of like a cooler toned pinky shade. I love these. These are beautiful. I do unfortunately forget to reach for my loose highlighters quite a bit often, but I would love to keep these because these are so blingy and so stunning. Then I have these 3 cream blushes from M2U NYC. And these were sent to me through Octoly to try out for free. You most likely haven't heard of this brand. I think they launched back in March, I believe. Anyways, these are just so stunning. There's a couple of shades. We have this shade called Fairy, which is just a stunning kind of pinky shade. Then there is Hot, which this shade, I think I'm going to declutter. It's just a little too much. It's very red. These are pretty pigmented, and I don't see myself really getting much use out of it. I think I've swatched it and then tried to use it, but overall not a shade for me. Then the 3rd shade is Spring Dust. This is my favorite shade ever. This is basically like a burnt orange, and it's just so stunning. I love this, super pigmented, love the formula. Definitely keeping this one. Then I have these 2 highlighters from Kylie Cosmetics in Santorini and Tahiti. These are pretty much the same as the Colourpop ones, Cough Cough. So this is what Tahiti looks like. We're gonna be very careful. This is like a peachy shade with a gold shift in it. Then we have Santorini, which is just, I think, yep, it's just kind of like a champagne-y gold shade. Really beautiful. I'm keeping these. I've had these for such a long time. I really need to get more use out of them. So speaking of loose highlighters, we have this giant jug of Wet n Wild Moon Tears. This was like a, I believe, a Halloween themed collection from a couple years ago. This is a stunning champagne-y highlighter, and this one's just so stunning. It doesn't accentuate skin texture but looks super blingy. I love this one. However, wish it was in a smaller jar because this is just obnoxious, but I'm keeping that one. Then I have this Lime Crime Software Blush in Hyperlink. Honestly, I cannot get this formula to work for me. It doesn't want to pick up on my brushes. It doesn't want to put down on my cheeks. I don't know what it is. It's just like a really weird formula where it like kind of hard pans on me when I do try to swatch it. I love the color, but it's kind of patchy too, you can see. I just don't like this. I'm so glad I only bought one of these. So I'm decluttering that one. Next up, we have this highlighter from Colourpop. We have quite a bit of these Super Shock highlighters from Colourpop. It's called Strapped. I'm pretty sure this is not available anymore. It has a black packaging, so it's probably a limited edition one. It's a really beautiful pinky shade. I'm running out of room here. It looks a little dark now that I've swatched it, so maybe it's more like a blushy kind of highlighter. But I'm going to keep this one and try it out and then see if I want to declutter it or if I want to keep it. I I have this cream blush from Flowers. It's called the Blush Balm and it's in the shade Nectar. I love this shade. I've been wanting to get more of these. I'm pretty sure, I think I heard that they discontinued these. I might be wrong, but I wanted to get more shades of these for the longest time, but definitely keeping this one. I love the formula, I love everything about it. Then I have the last contour shade I own, so I don't think I own that many contour shades, but this is the ABH stick in Shadow, and this is my favorite contour. Absolutely such a amazing shade for my skin tone. I might want to try the Fawn shade next, but as you can see, I've been through a lot of it. I'm planning on panning this fully, even though I've had it for some time, but it's still super creamy and it just blends out like a dream. I love it so much. Next up, I have these 3 Physicians Formula Butter Highlighters. Let me tell you, this is basically a Super Shock formula, but it smells like coconut and it's beautiful. I absolutely love these. I wish they did more of these. I have the shade Pearl Iridescent. I think that one's like a purple shifting one, and then Pink. This one's a little too dark for me, but I think if I use it lightly and more kind of as a blush, it's great. I just love this formula so much. This is a beautiful purple shifting shade. Let me see if I can. It just feels so smooth, and these haven't dried out, and I've had them for about a year. Next up is this random Catrice Liquid Metal eyeshadow that I got from Ulta. I don't really know. I was planning on using it as eyeshadow, but I never did, and then I shoved it in my highlighting drawer, and here we are. So I want to try this as a highlighter, finally, and then see if I want to keep it. Then I have these M Cosmetics liquid blushes, Pink Nectar and Sunset Sky. These are absolutely stunning shades. However, I hate the dropper. The dropper is super finicky, and it sucks. I'm just going to put it out there straight up. It sucks. I love the shades. I really love the packaging. Otherwise, this is nice glass. It looks beautiful. I don't love the formula. It's very liquidy and oily, and it tends to really sheer out too much for my preference, and it's not very buildable. It also makes my foundation patchy a lot, so I don't love these, but I'm going to keep these because they were pretty expensive, and I'm going to just keep trying them out. I think these are great for anybody who doesn't wear foundation and just wants like a blush that goes straight on their skin. I think that would be beautiful. I have this Kaja Koi Blush. It's like a sponge, and it comes with this sponge heart applicator, and I love this shade and I love the formula. It blends out effortlessly, and I cannot say enough good things. This Jaclyn Hill Extra Loose Highlighter. This one is super blingy, kind of for the just like absolute highest point of your cheeks. It's just crazy metallic. It's super stunning. I am definitely keeping this one. So back there I had these 2 Nomad highlighters. This one is Disco Nights from the Studio 54 collection, which I have a video up trying that collection out along with the eyeshadows. And then this is Hot Shot, and these are really stunning highlighters. However, they're very chunky. Honestly, I'm on the fence with these, and I've used them quite a bit of time since that video, and I feel like sometimes they do accentuate my skin texture. I have to like really make sure to blend them out on my cheeks so you can't see kind of the chunkiness that they are in the pan. So these need to be like really blended out, but they're just so stunning. I love this peach highlighter. I love the shade. It's not like too dark for me, so I'm gonna keep these until next time. Then I have these 3 highlighters from Kaleidos Makeup. We have Ray Rider, Moon Cruiser, Mars Melter, and these are just absolutely stunning. These I didn't purchase. My friend sent them to me, who gets PR from Kaleidos, and these are just so stunning. I always wanted to try their highlighters, but I just never could bite the bullet. This shade is so stunning. There's some really unique shifts. I'm definitely keeping these to try these out more. Also sent to me by the same friend are these 2 Colourpop Super Shock highlighters in Manifest That and You're a Trip. And I just absolutely love these. These are the same thing as this, but like a giant pan. And I wish you could feel what I'm feeling right now. They're just so smooth and buttery and shimmery and sparkly, but like not to the point where it's too much on your face. It doesn't accentuate skin texture because of the texture that these are. I just love these. Using these forever and ever and ever. Next, I have this Cinny Grace highlighter in Sweet Peach that was sent to me in PR. I think I applied it once and it's a little bit dark. I'm gonna keep trying it out and see, but from what I remember, it was a little bit too dark on my skin tone, but it is very beautiful. So next up to some of these cream blushes. These are From Nude Sticks, we have Sunset Strip and Tiger Lily. And this is what this one looks like. It's such a stunning shade. I love this. I've had this for some time. These used to be my go-to. Like right when I got into cream blushes, I got these, and these have not disappointed. I love them so much. This one's more like a matte finish-ish kind of, but like still creamy. But this one's definitely more glowy. Then I have these Colourpop blush sticks. We have Mini Me, 25-8, and Cool It. I don't really feel like uncapping all of these. I'm pretty sure one of these is broken. This is just like a really beautiful soft pink. I'm not going to swatch these. And then 25-8. I like that some of these, and then this one also like a really stunning. I feel like this shade doesn't really correspond at all with what the actual shade looks like in the tube. We're almost finished here. These are all my cream blushes from Fenty Beauty. I love these. I love that they're buildable. I'd, again, much rather have to build up than have to take away. I like going in with a lighter hand and kind of building these up to where I want them. I would say the standout shade for me is Fuego Flush, which is this orange with sparkles in it. I love this one. You could also mix it with some of the other shades. And then I love Petal Poppin' a lot as well. I've used this one quite a bit. Drama Class is pretty unique. Purpley blush, really cool. It actually looks more like a cool tone pink when you blend it out on the cheek. And then Cool Berries, Summertime Wine, Strawberry Drip, and Daiquiri Dip. And out of all of these, I would say Cool Berries probably not the best for my skin tone. So I might declutter this one later on. Same with Summertime Wine. This one's okay, but I'm keeping them all for now. Then I have this random little Chromatic Silk Loose Eyeshadow and Pinhead from Lunatic Cosmetic Labs. I'm not sure really why I keep this around. I don't ever use it. It was like a freebie that came with my order when I ordered from them like a few years ago. So I'm thinking I'm actually going to get rid of this one. So lastly, we have all my Super Shock highlighters from Colourpop. I have quite a bit and I love them so much. One of my absolute favorite highlighter formulas. These are just so stunning. We have glazed. Some of these are a little bit similar. This one has a little bit of a dent in it. I'm not going to swatch all of these and show you all of these. I'm pretty sure some of these have been discontinued. I've had them for quite a bit. Stole the Show has quite a bit of a dent in it too. I'm still amazed how soft and buttery these feel. I've had them for years. I must be really closing them well because these are like show no signs of drying out. It's kind of amazing. I'm going to swatch it here on my thumb. And we have Smoke and Whistles, which is my favorite shade ever. It's like a pinky. And we have Smoke and Whistles, which is my favorite shade of them all. As you can see, I've actually hit pan. I know, can you believe it? And it's just like a really beautiful pinky highlight. I just love this on my skin tone. And then I have Honeymoon, which is like a blue shimmer duochrome. Hippo, which is a purpley shift. I don't love this shade. And then this one's actually a blush. This is Between the Sheets. And I honestly don't remember the last time I used this. It feels a little bit dry. Not really much picks up. I think I'm going to declutter this one actually. I'm really not sure if I'm going to ever use this. Maybe give it one last try. I really need to just make a pile of things that I need to use before I decide if I want to keep them. So second to last, I have this Colourpop Drop of a Hat Super Shock Cheek. This is a really beautiful shade. Haven't used it much. It's been a while, so I honestly don't remember how I felt about it. But it's definitely more of like a blush, and I gotta be a little bit light-handed with it, but it's beautiful. I'm gonna keep this one and try it out some more. And lastly, this is actually a Super Shock shadow called New Magic. It's pretty much the same thing as Honeymoon, but like a bit more glittery. Let's see, let's compare these two. This one feels pretty dry, but so that's probably why it looks like that too. So that's the eyeshadow, and then we have the highlighter. The highlighter is definitely more slippery. So it looks like the eyeshadow is just more of like a really beautiful sky blue, while the other one's more like purpley blue. So I'm going to declutter this one just because it's dried out, but it is really beautiful. I definitely have shades like this though among all my single eyeshadows from indie brands. I mostly put everything back. I did leave out some of the stuff I mentioned that I wanted to get more use out of and just test it out and see if I wanted to declutter in the future. But I did end up decluttering a total of 3 blushes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 highlighters. 3 of those might be technically kind of eyeshadows, especially the Super Shock from Colourpop, but it doesn't matter. They're kind of multi-use And so that's everything for this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I love watching videos about people's collections, about face products, eye products, really any kind of products so much. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.